Welcome to Go Big or Go Broke, where you'll learn the method, madness, and making of impactful millionaires. And now, here's your host with the most, Kathy Karabetzos.
Hey there, podcasters. I am Kathy Karabetzos, your host of Go Big or Go Broke. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have a very special guest with me today who is an outsourcing COO, process designer, project manager, productivity consultant, accountability coach, and virtual staff manager at My Clone Solution. She was driven by the desire to see small business owners spend more time away from their business, doing what they love, and started My Clone Solution. She realized that small business owners do not have the opportunity to have the support of an amazing assistant, and My Clone Solution fixes this problem by providing dependable executive support and productivity for startup companies and small businesses. She's also a business coach at Tom Fine Arts and has developed systems and methodologies helping countless business owners around the world do more of what they love. She believes that business is all about learning new techniques and tips that the world has to offer and implementing those things into your business. Please join me in warmly welcoming to the show, Brook Borup. Brooke, thank you again so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I love doing these. It's so much fun.
Absolutely my pleasure. And the coolest part about this that we just talked about a minute ago, we're trying to figure out how do we get connected. And at the end of the day, your grassroots is all about virtual assistants. That's what you do. You help to build teams for people like myself who need teams. And it is my team on the back end who actually hooked us up to get to your team. So I love it. It's a small world. Welcome to the show. Thrilled to have you. And let's go ahead and just dive right in. Tell us a little bit about you, your background, how you started your company, what incentivized you to do so, and then we'll just dive right in.
All right. Well, I will make that very long story very short. Okay. So I come from an entrepreneurial family. And when I say entrepreneurial, I mean the age-old, I created a job for myself because I wasn't going to work for anybody else.
Unemployment.
Exactly. So it's not really business owners, but business owners,
sure,
that we see normally every day. And I always said I was never going to be a business owner. I saw how hard my dad worked. And we have 11 businesses in our immediate family. And like everybody's just workaholics. And I have that. It's instilled in me. But unfortunately, in the customer service and hospitality world, entrepreneurs are not valued.
Oh,
right.
I want you to know I am also business owner of 2 call centers in the U.S. So when I hear something like that about our customer service, that really breaks my heart.
Yeah, and it's really hard to work for people who don't understand the entrepreneur lifestyle and the way that we like to be, and people that just like to serve. And that's what I've always been. I was in, like I said, hospitality and customer service for 15 years. And one day, it was about 2 years before I actually quit, that I started polling my networking partners and like, hey, if you have this, would this be something that you'd be interested in? And, I got mixed answers. And so I just kept doing it while I was doing my regular job. And yeah, I fired corporate America on January 1st, 2014. So, and here I am.
Fired corporate America. Now, mind you, sending lots of love to my fellow mates at corporate America. We're not hating on you, but what we are saying is as intro and changing into entrepreneur, it's a whole new world. I love the fact that you were able to gracefully fire in the corporate America.
Well, and it's not the people. I love the people that I work with. It's just the system in general. Like I want to build a corporate structure here at My Clone, because I think that, every business needs that. But every business needs to employ people that make sense for their business. And unfortunately, that's not always the way that it works.
And valuing them. I think key behind it and what you're going to do different, the same thing that I did when I built my company, completely unemployable as well. Love to hear it. Same situation. I decided I'm doing it different. For me and my company, we're going to do this differently. We're going to treat people like real humans. Imagine that.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, absolutely. Let them know their passion is, their area of genius, their expertise, what they love to do. And that won't matter. I don't care if it's, it's scrubbing a toilet, answering a customer service call, marketing. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever their zone of genius is, what makes them passionate, what makes them tick, and that's where they should be working.
That's where everybody should be working. It really is. And I love my team that I've built now is amazing, and our clients are even more amazing. And I feel like we're making a difference every day.
I love it. So you've been doing this now, what, about 5 years?
5 years, yeah.
5 years. So let's talk about that a little bit. Obviously, we know the reason why.
Yeah.
We set out to change the world, and it sounds like you're doing that. Talk to us about your clients. What are you doing specifically for them? What is your perfect looking client? How do you handle your customers today?
So, it's one of those things. What's your target market? And I talk about it all the time. But my target market isn't necessarily a vertical. It's a mindset.
Okay.
Most of my clients are in the 45 to 65 range. They realize that their business needs more than just them. They know the value of having a team behind them, and they know that they're not great at everything that they do, right?
Right. Well, all good entrepreneurs understand that. It's
Yes.
the not so great entrepreneurs that don't get that part, that you're
Yes.
not great at everything, right?
Yes, and those people are the people that are just not fit for what we're doing because they don't understand the value that we bring, and we start feeling like, that old boss that we had, and it's different when you have 40 different bosses every month versus just one. One bad apple needs to be fired if they can't be trained to do better.
Absolutely. That's pretty cool. So tell us about your clients today. So clearly you're not in the vertical. So you're working with entrepreneurs of all scopes, sizes, shapes. They know that they need help. Give us a little bit of an understanding of the core services that you're offering today.
Right. So our entry-level product that people get in with us, I call it our gateway drug, is LinkedIn lead generation.
Okay.
And it's using LinkedIn to start conversations for our clients because they just don't have time to do it. So we coach them how, we write the scripts, and we do the outbound for them. That gets them super excited, and it also brings in some cash because then they can turn around and be like, so what else do you do?
Sure.
And so we do everything from, building and editing websites to increasing automation and coaching into delegation because most of our clients don't have that skill set.
Well, let's go back a little bit for a second. Teaching automation.
Yep.
That's what you said. And coaching into delegation. Can you be a little bit more specific so our audience understands those services and what you specifically help your clients with in those two areas?
Absolutely. I am a firm believer that over time you can automate 40% of everything you're doing every day in your business.
That's a great number.
It is a great number. It's the 80-20 rule. We'll get to that in just a second. So 40% of what you're doing every day can be done by technology and planning. So we can actually go through everything that you're doing, and I can say, all right, if we put these 3 products together and make them talk, you will no longer have to do triple data management. You will no longer have to worry about reconciling your books every day or inputting invoices because the client stuff automatically goes in when you put in whatever. And we take what you have and we automate it. So by using the systems that are out there. Then as we're going through the process of automation, because it's not easy, it's a mindset shift that you have to go through. But, we walk through it and we actually go and build the entire thing for you. Then once you get into that, we're also on the back end, we're also saying, okay, at this point, and this point, we can delegate this task to somebody else at some point. So when you have a full-time assistant in your world, all you have to do is have this email address go to them. And now all of the tasks that you have to do manually can automatically be emailed to your new assistant. Right now, they're going to go to you. But when that time comes, you can delegate that and you have a full job description and everything's done. All of the training is done. All of the SOPs are done. And if you happen to not be the world's best manager and you tend to have some turnover, it doesn't matter because you don't have to sit and train that new person for 3 weeks because everything is automatically built into that automation delegation structure.
Excellent. It sounds amazing, awesome, and I can't even taking myself, who obviously works with teams, I've been doing this for a long time, taking all of that, putting it on paper, and then mapping it out and have you automate that it's still mind-boggling to me.
It is, and it's a lot of work, but it's so worth it at the end.
Yeah, so the pressure pot and going through that is not the fun piece. It's not the fun part, but anyone who knows anything about running a company and then being able to offshoot them, getting them off of your plate is certainly a place that everyone wants to be, which kind of leads us into the delegation piece a little bit further with that you mentioned. Is there any other strengths there that you would like to mention as far as the delegation side of the business?
So delegation is another separate mindset. And for every person you bring on, if you bring them on and their zone of genius is to support you, that would be the first person I would bring on. but you will start bringing people on in threes. And it's really funny how that happens. I brought on my first assistant, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, I need these 2 other people. And so they're part-time at first, but then you have now you have this whole team. And I have a team of 9 now. And for
some of their functions, so we have a good idea, a good picture.
Sure, absolutely. So I have Sarah, who is my mini-me. She's the one that answers my email. She's the one that takes care of my retainer clients on a daily basis. She basically lives in 11 different email addresses every single day and takes care of everything that comes in or asks me if she needs me. I have Sam, who is my video editor. He also takes care of my LinkedIn lead gen to make sure everything is running properly and staying on time. And then he is also a telemarketer for me. So he will make those phone calls that I don't have time to make, right?
I love Sam.
I love Sam. Then I have Anna, and so Sam and Sarah are here with me in Tampa. Anna is in Texas, and she is my automation guru. I can sit with a client for 3 hours and build their entire concept of their funnel, and they get me over the content for the emails that I need. I send it all to her, and it just magically happens. She understands the intricacies of technology. She knows how to put things together, and she's amazing. So that's Anna. And then I have Joey is in Atlanta, and Joey is my web guy. So he handles websites and development. And then I have a team in Tennessee that handles SEO for any of our clients that need SEO. And then I have a full team in the Philippines that handle graphic design, data management. We do a lot of building lists, like call lists, because we have a couple products that we represent. So we're calling stores to see if we can get them in stores. And then I have a team in Trinidad. And my team in Trinidad is my podcast editing, show notes, all of the stuff for all of my podcasters. And they are ready to jump on board at any given point. So I had just a couple of months ago, I had one of my clients call, and he does video and audio for court, so for lawyers. And he calls me at 6:30 a.m. on a Saturday morning and says, I have 489 audio files that need to be redacted and QC'd before Monday. How many people can I get from you?
Wow.
And by George, we did it.
You figured that out. Nothing like a little piece of pressure to have an entrepreneur step up to the plate. But that's usually our zone of genius.
Yes.
That's
yes,
why
it is.
In this world. And yes, we're all panicked and we're sweating it out and maybe a little flaring here and there, but we get the job done.
Yep.
And that's what makes a true entrepreneur. We are good under pressure. We might not look good under pressure. We might not feel good under pressure, but we do show up.
Yes.
And not a lot of people like that pressure, but that's why I think we're unemployable. We actually kind of thrive a little bit on those magical moments, I like to call them, when we're under the pressure cooker. And then we provide for our clients, which is amazing. Been doing it for such a long time. I'm really glad that we can offshore some of these things. Oh, I said literally off the shore. I just mean getting them off of our plate now. So I love the whole concept behind virtual teams. I think it's fantastic. I have obviously teams in the United States, both in Illinois and in Iowa. So, and my team from behind the scenes, I have a team that I'm working with as well. So they're all over the globe as well. So I love that. Love what you're doing. So tell us about the size and scope of your clients right now. Can you give us an idea of how many customers you're working with today and what keeps it all together? Obviously it's the helm, it's you. You have a great team. Talk to us about how many clients you're serving today and how you're keeping it all together.
So we have about 15 clients on a daily basis.
Okay. 4
of them we're actually running the business. So we are the right hands for our clients in 4 cases. And then, like I said, about 15 right now. With LinkedIn lead gen, we're running about 10 right now, and I have another 8 that are about ready to get started with that. They're in the onboarding process.
Excellent. So how do you find your own clients? Are you practicing what you're preaching? Are you going out there and finding your own customers via LinkedIn and lead gen, that kind of thing?
I am. So I put butts in seats with LinkedIn lead gen. So I do workshops, bring them in that way. I facilitate a couple of networking groups locally, and we do we get a lot of referrals because our clients love us. And so that's how I was able to spread so far around the country and the world, is like, hey, Ellen said that I needed you. I don't know what I need you for, but she said I needed you, right? So that happens a lot, and that's great. And then some of my clients are speakers, and so they'll go out and speak, and they'll be like, my LinkedIn lead gen girl, she got me 1,900 clicks on the link for this. And they're like, really? Wow, how did that happen? I need to meet her. And so that kind of stuff happens. But we're always consistent on social media. We're consistent with our list. We're not all the time, but when we have the time to be able to delve into social media, we go out and answer questions.
Sure.
We don't necessarily get business directly from social media, but the education and the value that goes out on there is what gets people to actually call.
Excellent.
And that's what I preach there too. So
fantastic. Now, talk to us about where your services start and where they end. What are some of the things that you just don't do? And the reason I ask that, I think I'm a very good example. You know, I'm a call center, so I have customer inbound support. We do anything with social media related communications, chat, email, social platforms, web response forms, and that kind of thing. And then on the outbound, we do our own telephone calls, telemarketing, kind of thing. And I know you mentioned SAM, which I have a fondness for already. Tell us about where you don't, what you're just not offering as far as a service for your clients and the reason you might have decided to stop there.
Yep. So I technically don't do telemarketing for my clients.
I didn't think
Sam is for me. He handles our stuff and he knows my business well enough where he can talk and actually sell it so that once they get on the phone with me, it's just about what's the scope of work at this point, which is great. I don't do conversion. So we do LinkedIn lead gen and we start the conversation, but it's up to the owner or the salesperson or the assistant to complete that into the sales process. So we really stick to the operations behind a business, not necessarily the sales or the servicing.
You're doing all the processing behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Excellent. So when it comes to converting anything to calendar, well, obviously you do lead gen, but you might help them to set up their funnels and that type of thing, but you're not taking the communication from that point and forward.
Correct.
Really, most virtual teams do not. The same with digital marketers or digital strategists. They're creating those lovely, wonderful, amazing quantity of leads, but they're not getting them qualified down, taking them to the next step, which is great for people like myself. Yeah. Because that's where we step in and we become the heroes to both the virtual teams and also digital strategist marketing teams as well. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's really hard to be able to make a living off of one company. And if you have to learn a company so inside and out where you can answer every question and diffuse every objection, that becomes a thing. And we like to help more people and serve more people in that realm. Yeah, it's just about, with us, I like to take people from nothing to about 60%.
Excellent.
So because we work across a whole bunch of different things, I'm really a professional project manager because most business owners will go out and they'll be like, oh, somebody told me I needed SEO. Somebody told me I need to run Facebook ads. Somebody told me I need a better website. So they go out and they hire the individuals, but the problem is those individuals don't talk. So in order for the SEO to be really effective, the website person has to be in on that. And in order for the Facebook ads to be really effective, you need to have a funnel and a landing page. But the business owner doesn't know what they don't know. So if you're the business owner and you're the one that's project managing all these people, guess what? It's automatically flawed because you don't understand what you don't know. And they're not going to tell you because they live in their own zone of genius. Website people don't do Facebook ads. Facebook ads don't do SEO, right? And they don't know because they don't work on that. Where with us, our team is all under one roof and we do that.
I love it. So you're basically sharing the information. You're not staying in silos. You're making sure that when you are managing a partner or a client of yours, that you're communicating across all channels. Yeah, that is brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. I love the fact that you're doing that. And when you're sharing the communication, that is key behind any successful relationship is always going to boil down to communication. I love the fact that you are able to articulate exactly what every business owner goes through because we all see the next shiny light object item. And frankly, as many people say, is, stay away from the next shiny object. Entrepreneurs will not. We're forward thinkers. We're going on to the next thing as quick as we can be. And it's because we want to test and we continue to test. And we know that there's a ton of talent out there. There's tools. We're thinking about the future. So we're always going to run tests. The problem is key behind it is that how indeed do we make that all speak to each other? And I think that you're onto something there. So what is your niche? What is if you were going to say the one thing that you do better than anyone else, what is that?
I manage CEOs.
Ooh, that is a talent, my friend. That is a talent. So give us a little bit more. You manage CEOs. Tell us about that. Obviously, your services speak for themselves, but you're saying that you are best at managing CEOs.
Absolutely. Because of that entrepreneur way everybody works, right? So, the shiny ball and the shiny ball and the shiny ball. I always said when I was working in executive assisting in hospitality, I'm like, the C-level you're working for is just the head, right? The administrative assistant, the one that does everything, is the neck. If you didn't have your neck, you can't see anything, right? And you're focused on one thing. Well, that's what I do, is I turn the heads of my CEOs to make sure that they're not going off in different directions, to make sure that there's a plan and they're sticking to it. I am not a coach. I will never, ever be a coach. I am more of that person that you hire in your business to sit next to you to say, was that a good idea?
Yeah. Sounds like a coach to me. The even funnier part of the head and the analogy that you use is I'm married to a Greek. You might have guessed by my last name. And so in the movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding is, it's probably one of the funniest parts of the show. She said, let the husband be the head because I am the neck. And I turn him wherever I want him to go, which is hilarious. And I love the fact that you use that analogy. It's great. So you wouldn't want to be a coach. It's funny. You really technically are. You're not getting paid to be a coach. You're getting paid to do all these other things. But at the end of the day, you really are. You're saying, reminder, do we really want to go that way? And reminder, I know a few things about a few things. We might not want to go that way.
Yes, please don't spend that money. Please don't spend that money on that thing. We can use it for something much better over here.
Let us help you use it more wisely,
Yeah. I call myself an implementation specialist, because that's really what it is. It's about taking, hey, this is the idea I have. Okay, I'm going to make it a reality for you, but only if you're really going to be 100% on this. That mindset piece. I work with a lot of, for those of you who know the DISC profile, I work with a lot of the I's.
Yeah.
D's usually are a different breed of people for me personally, but I work with a lot of I's, and that's who we work with best, because they want somebody in their corner. They want somebody to bounce ideas off of, and they want to be able to get it done, and they don't necessarily want to learn how to do it.
And what's your high on the DISC profile?
I'm an S. Well, it depends, because I can sit here and I can be up on stage speaking and somebody will say, oh, she's a D. And really,
we all have all of those components and those traits.
Yes.
It's just what is our predominant. So you're steady. That's great. And that makes sense to me, working with I's. And it would also make sense for me why D's might not be your happy space.
Yep. And I can sit down and talk to a C all day long. Because I have all of the information they could ever want.
Yeah, I understand it completely. That's very super cool. Can you give us an example of a client that you're working with right now, what you've done for them, how you've changed their life?
Sure. So I have a client that I was up in New Jersey doing a workshop. She walked into the place where I was having the workshop, and when I got done, came up to me and she's like, I need to hire you. And so it was an amazing start to that. And we've been working together since June. And when we started, she has an online product that she sells in both retail stores and online. And everything was manual. So orders were being taken from the stores via the phone or text message or whatever and run manually. Sure. Within the first 6 weeks, we had added a wholesale platform to the website. So all of the wholesalers are now being migrated over to go place their own orders that are automatically fulfilled. We added an affiliate program so that her tribe could also share and make money off of her product. We now are in Amazon, so we've got that running too. And we're now building out her evergreen social media so that she doesn't have to fret about that every single day. And if she misses a morning post, she doesn't have to do it. And really what she does is she builds her brand. She goes out and she talks about her product and she builds her brand, and that's her job. Our job is everything else. So we man the email, we take care of orders and shipping and all of that stuff. We have a fulfillment house, they take care of that, but of course that all has to be managed. But we went from having 3 individual companies who didn't want to do sales. So they basically fired themselves when we said, well, everything you've been doing is now automated. So now we need to move into a sales and business development role. And they were like, oh, no, we don't want to do that. So we started working on that. We've gotten a couple of really key. We just signed a spa in Amelia Island at the Ritz-Carlton. And so they're placing an order now every month, which is the highest grossing account that she has ever had. It's really great. And so it's really just making sure that the business can run itself. And that's just one. We're just finishing up a project right now with a company out of Melbourne, Florida, that works with veterans and employers and putting them together after the veterans transition out. And we took their website from a Wix website that was built by the owner. And now, granted, the owner had built this company to $1.5 million a year. Great. And doing everything himself with his team, right? And we now have a new website with an online platform. They're doing on-demand classes. We've saved his instructors now over 40 hours a month in doing live classes that can now be automated. And their entire system they have a sales system now that's automated. They have a learning management system that's automated. And all of the pieces of that is automated. So all our team has to do is put in dates of when their classes are done and when they start, and everything else just triggers off of that. So
a return on investment that you can share as far as percentage increase and that type of thing on the work that you're putting?
Well, everybody is different, right? Yes. Yeah. So, here's a number. So for most of us that are trying to get opt-ins to our website, for this particular company, they did not have an opt-in on their old website, right? So we had no idea what that number was. I went live on January 8th with the new website at 2 a.m. And at 9 a.m. when I got up, we already had 10 opt-ins.
Awesome.
Right? So we were missing that many. We've had 500 opt-ins in 4 months. And with at that point, no system to be able to convert them.
Incredible.
So my client didn't even know he had that many people interested, let alone, because those people don't pick up the phone and call.
No, absolutely not.
That's just one of those metrics. I mean, I'm sure there's a heck of a lot more I could share with you, but that's a lot more time.
That's great. Well, I have so many questions I can continue to ask you. Let's talk a little bit about your teams that are kind of scattered abroad. You have some in the U.S. and some offshore.
Yep.
Can we talk about your pricing model for your type of services versus somebody who's completely offshore, and why you chose to work with teams onshore and offshore?
So I work with business owners that could be doing $100,000 a year, or they could be doing $4.5 million a year.
Okay.
So everybody has a different price point, but I think that everybody deserves the help that they need.
Sure.
And so that's why I utilize different teams, because everybody does need to live in their zone of genius. And so when somebody comes to me, it's usually a scope of work that we're planning, whether it's a project base, because some things are projects and then some things are ongoing. So a lot of my project clients will turn into retainer clients in some way, shape, or form. I have retainer clients that are as low as $300 a month and some that are as high as $4,000. So it just depends on how much we're doing and how much access you want.
And do you partner with other VA organizations? Companies are doing very similar to you, but maybe they're not serving a certain audience or crowd, or maybe there's one or two tools that you work on and focus on that they don't. Do you partner strategically with those type of channel partners?
I like to, as long as they have the same mission as I do. And it's hard to find that. I mean, everybody thinks they have the same mission, but when I'm trying to get something done on a Saturday or a Sunday, because that just comes up, I need those people to be available. So my team understands that if I text them during or message them in off hours, it's an emergency, because I need more than just me. I will not make anyone or ask anyone to do something that I wouldn't do. And in some cases, if I get that call, guess what? I'm the one doing the data if it's an emergency. But and I get a lot of people that come to me from those other companies, and they'll say, I need something extra, right? And they will have been referred to me through somebody else. So like your assistant was talking to my assistant, and she does all my social media graphics.
Sure.
And she's like, she would be perfect for your podcast.
That's great.
And I'm like, and that's funny because they do that stuff behind your back and then just surprise you. It's great.
Well, that's just a testament to you and your work ethic, and then people obviously enjoy working with you, and they understand that your mission is that, and I completely respect the freedom formula for everybody. If you don't have to work the extra hours, don't, by all means, but I'm also very much like you. If a client raises their hand on a Sunday afternoon because there is a fire that they need put out and they count on me, I expect the same thing for me to be able to count on my team. It's not a fun position to be in. None of us like to call them out on those give me a call card. but we have to do it. And you have to have a team that understands that they're rooted and inbred in your vision and your culture. And I get that completely. And I'm perfectly content with those of the companies that don't do that and they insist on that. But I understand that we are living in a real world with real problems and we have real solutions. And so if it's not me, they're going to be moving on to another call center, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Well, and like, it's fun because I hire people because they're entrepreneurs and I take them from situations in the companies that they're in where they're not being treated like they should be treated as an entrepreneur. And that's where my team gets built piece by piece. But my very first virtual assistant that I hired 4.5 years ago, I hired her because she wanted to have her own team.
Excellent.
Right? Like she wanted to have her own BPO. And here we are, she was in the Philippines, right? And so here we are 4 years later and she's running a team of 20. And she has since moved on from being my VA, but she's given me a couple of really great ones. And then I can always call on her if I need extra. You know, like, hey.
Yeah, you can call.
Right? Exactly.
Partnering with them. Absolutely.
Yep. You know, so yeah, all my people have their own stuff going on, but they will step up because they know that they're going to be treated well. They know they're going to have all the tools they need to do the job. And they know that they're going to be shouted out from the rooftops when stuff like that happens.
I love it. I love your philosophy. I love your ambition. I love the work that you're doing. Thank you for being so good to your people. That means the world to me after 28 years in the industry and serving everyone.
Yes.
It's pleasant to have others that care that much about their team. Thank you for doing that. Before we kind of wind down the show, because we're a little bit over our time today, is there anything else that you would have us to know about yourself, about your company? And then maybe we'll wind it up with where we can find you. And then I'm going to ask you to share some tips for our audience in just a minute.
Okay. I mean, we've really talked about a lot of it. So, I mean, you can find me anywhere. You can find me on pretty much any social media. Yes, it's all syndicated. It's not different for every platform. Don't get behind that myth.
I don't.
You can find me anywhere. So Brook Borup, my clone solution. And if you ever want to know anything about me, it's out there. I promise. Somebody somewhere did an interview. And tips, right? So first of all,
the question there would be something that you believe our audience could take, or maybe up to 3 tips that our audience can actually take away today to implement themselves to say, yeah, I'm going big. I also want to go big. I see Brooke's gone big. I know that Kathy's gone big. I can take these tips away and think about how I'm going to go big.
Okay, so because LinkedIn is my big deal right now, I want to focus it around that because not enough people are using it. Sure. And so if you really want to go big, the first thing you need on LinkedIn is to make sure that when you look at your profile that you would do business with you.
Okay.
Simple as that. The second thing is, does your profile talk about you or does it talk about the problems that you solve and the people that you solve them for?
Excellent.
Okay. Number 3, no more word vomit. You know, this is not a 30-second commercial that you walk into a networking event and just give over and over and over again. You can be automated and generically specific about what you're doing on LinkedIn and what you say without having it be all about you.
Sure.
Because no one cares about you.
They don't. That's absolutely true. So let's start dumping those 30-second elevator pitches. That's so the 90s.
Start being conversational. It's what it's all about. LinkedIn is a 24/7 networking event that you can walk into with no clothes on, be able to snap your fingers, and all of your target audience is right there in front of you.
I love it.
That's it.
I love it. I mean, I'm all about nurturing relationships. And now we're hearing a lot more of this messaging. It's coming up a lot more frequently saying, guys, they're not an audience. They're not your avatar. They're not your perfect target. They're not your demographics. Guys, these are human beings that might have a need for what it is that you do and that you offer because they might have a problem that you're solving. Can you just have a conversation?
Yeah.
And so I love that so much. That is absolutely exceptional advice. And it's been absolutely an honor and pleasure to get to know you today, Brooke.
Pleasure to be here, Kathy. Thank you.
It's such a pleasure. Thank you again for joining us. We'll put the show notes together so that obviously people could find you online, and we'll have to be checking out some of those interviews that you've done because now I want to know more.
Thank you so much, Kathy. And pleasure to talk to you today.
Oh, it's absolutely a pleasure. Thank you again. And we'll be in touch and let you know when the show goes live. Podcasters, thank you so much for joining us today. Please subscribe to the show below by clicking that big red subscription button. Kindly rate the show and share it out to all of your friends so they too can go big. I am Kathy Karabetzos, and you can find me at kathykarabetzos.com on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Have a grateful day, everybody, and don't forget to go big.
You've been listening to Go Big or Go Broke with Kathy Karabetzos. If you enjoyed this episode, then you better play big and hit that subscribe button.